Hello, friends. Welcome back to another session of AC Made Easy. After looking into the various aspects of transistor working as an amplifier, like the three configurations, and then the three regions of operations, like active region, cutoff region, and saturation region, now it is time to see how to make a transistor amplifier to work in a required region of operation. This diagram shows the output characteristics of a common emitter amplifier. Here, the x-axis is about the voltage between collector and emitter, and the y-axis talks about the output current. VCE is output voltage, and RC is the output current. Hence, we call it output characteristics of a transistor in CE mode. Now, for different base currents, we get different curves. So for IB1, this is the curve. That means anywhere on this curve, our operating point will be placed depending on the load resistance. The load resistance is finally going to decide what should be the points on which we can fix up the amplifier to operate. Hence, we call it an operating point. The foundations, let me revise. So, this is our common emitter amplifier, and for common emitter amplifier to work, yes, we need the emitter base junction to be forward biased. That means some VB should be there here. Only then the transistor activity will start functioning, and because of which the base current is going to decide the collector current depending on the ratio of impurity added to the base and emitter regions. So depending on the impurity ratios between base and emitter, this beta is decided, and that beta is going to decide what should be IC. IC will be beta times IB, and this IB is going to decide IC. And if you look at the KVL of this loop, so the VCC will be equal to this voltage plus this voltage because they are in series. So VCC will be VCE plus this voltage is IC times RC, or VCE will be VCC minus IC times RC. Now what is it trying to say is, for change in VI, if VI changes, then IB will change. If IB changes, then IC changes in a larger quantity because beta is very much greater than 1. And if IC changes, then RC is also very much greater than 1. Therefore, IC times RC will be a large increase. And when this is a large increase and this is a constant, therefore there will be a large decrease here. A small increase in VI is going to create a large decrease in VCE, and that's what is the amplification effect. And how this whole thing happens is, looking at this, the for any value of IB, there will be a particular value of IC. For that particular value of IC, for a given RC, there will be a fixed VCE. Therefore, for any value of IB, there will be a particular combination of IC and VCE. And if you look at this in this plane, it corresponds to 1 point. So we have plotted those points. So this is the point represented as 1, where there is no base current. This is the point which is 2, which is having minimum base current IB1. This is the point 3, which is having base current equal to IB2. This is 4 with base current IB3. 5 this, 6 this, and this is the 7th point. What actually we are trying to say is, if base current is somehow made to be equal to IB2, then the values of VCE, this is for 2, okay, VCE2, this will be IC2. So if it is IB2, then this transistor working will be such that there will be IC2 flowing here and VCE2 will be here. That's what this graph is talking, and this line called the load line is going to represent. So as you change the value of IB, the operating point is going to move along this point, along this line. I'm sorry. Say we are here, and if we try to increase the input voltage, then base current tries to increase, but because this is in the cutoff region, because this is in the cutoff region, so no current will be flowing. So till point 2 is reached, no current will be flowing in the base, and hence base current will be zero. Therefore collector current also will be zero. As the input increases above this level, which is going to make it VBE here, that is our cut-in voltage we require, V gamma, then current starts flowing, the IB starts flowing, and as IB starts flowing, then this point keeps moving upwards, and as this point keeps moving upwards, then IC2, IC keeps increasing, VCE keeps reducing, and this value keeps reducing as this is increasing. So if you work for an input which is this, so let us say this is our input. So if we have input like this, then if your operating point is 1, if the operating point selected is 1, then what will happen is, till some level is reached, that is till your voltage reaches this level, or till IB1 starts, there is no base current, and hence there is no collect current, and hence there is no voltage across RC. Therefore the total VCC will be across the transistor. So this is our VCC. So as this increases to this point, as this voltage increases, so at some point IB will start flowing. That is when it comes to point 2, IB starts flowing, and after that if it continues further increase, then yes, IB starts increasing, and hence IC starts increasing. If IC increases, then RC times IC increases, and hence VC starts reducing, and that's what we get this type of shape, the reverse direction. So it may something happen from here till here. It may happen from here till here. Then once it goes below this, again we are in the cutoff region. So till you reach this point, it's going to be in the cutoff. Therefore it will be VCC, and then for small part again it will flow, then VCC, and that way it continues. This is if operating point is selected at point 1. If you select operating point at point 2, then same thing happens, but only thing is you are starting from here, and any increase in input will move the operating point upwards, and hence a small increase upwards will increase IB, increase in IB increases IC, increase in IC decreases VC. Therefore you don't have to wait till this period as we did earlier. Now directly at this point itself it starts working, and for full half cycle it gets you output. Then for half cycle, nothing. Then another half cycle, we get output, and so on. I'm sorry, these are not to scale. So half cycle, we get amplified. This half cycle not amplified. This half cycle gets amplified, and so on. Now what happens if we are at point 3? Now if we are at point 3, the situation is different. If you are at point 3, and yes, definitely for the positive cycle, we are going to get a negative output because VCE decreases as IC increases. So this decreases from VCC. And then when it goes into negative part, when this goes into negative part, so it was going for positive part, it was going this way. When it is negative, it goes this way. So till it comes to 2, there is no problem. So it will give us some part of output for this negative input also, and so on. Now if you look for 4, then what happens is in both direction almost equal variation is possible, and hence when you talk for 4, we get a full cycle amplification all the time. But if you go to 5, yes, negative cycles are very well amplified, but positive cycle, it gets a problem. So when it is a positive cycle, so it goes till some value, then stops there. But negative cycle, you get a complete this thing, the opposite of this one. And when you are at 6, then very small part of here small part of positive cycle was getting amplified, whereas at 6 no part of positive cycle gets amplified, only negative cycles get amplified. So that comes similar to 2, but are the opposite direction. So the question now is, what do you want? If you want full cycle to be amplified, then make sure to select a point which is in the center. And if you want only half cycle to work, then make sure to select this point. And if you want less than half cycle to work, then select point 1 as your operating point, and so on. So for less than half cycle, point 1, exact half cycle, point 2, uh, full positive cycle, part of negative cycle, it is operating point can be at 3. Full positive cycle, full negative cycle to be amplified, yes, it can be at 4. At 5, part of positive cycle is amplified, full negative cycle can be amplified. At 6, only negative cycles are amplified, no positive part is amplified. At 7, nothing is amplified, it is just a constant. Output voltage is 0, and output current is maximum. So this value, that is the saturation condition. This is our cutoff condition. So this is what the idea behind what operating point is, and how the position of operating point is going to affect the output of the amplifier. Now the question is, if you want any one particular thing, then you need to select appropriate operating point. So how to do it? Yes, if you want point 1, don't do anything, just leave it. If you want point 2, then make sure that under normal condition IB1 will be flowing here. With no input, IB1 should be flowing. So some external potential should be applied here, so that with no input IB1 should be flowing. If you want operating point at 3, then make sure that with no input IB2 is flowing into the base. If you want this point, then make sure that IB3 is flowing into the base. If you want this, make sure IB4 is flowing, and if you want this, make sure IB5 is flowing, and so on. Now the question is how to make sure that IB3 is to be made available at the base or IB2 is made available at the base, how to do it, and that's the purpose of external circuitry called a biasing circuit. And that's what in detail we are going to look in our coming session. So till then, take care. Bye.